Cossacks 3. This is a remake of the classic game that originally launched in 2000s. Here you'll find 20 nations, 120 different unit types and over 220 different buildings. That sounds like an overkill, and believe me, it is. But it is also really fun to play. This game is like ultimate epic battle simulator before it was cool. Also, besides the battles on land, you can build an armada of battleships and attack your enemies at sea. Game offers 5 single-player campaigns. Cool feature is that the game lets you fight massive battles with up to 32,000 soldiers simultaneously on one battlefield. Just be sure that you have that NASA supercomputer for that. Iron Marines. Well, it's hard to introduce this game somehow differently than as a flat 2D StarCraft, and you know what? It's great! The art style may look very familiar to some of you because the game is made by the same developers of Kingdom Rush, as I always say, one of the best tower defense games ever made. So here you'll recruit and train the greatest heroes in the galaxy, lead them into dangerous missions against near impossible odds and unleash their mighty powers and abilities. In short, you will get 21 campaign missions across 3 different worlds, and each mission will require new tactics and actions to achieve victory. You will have to defeat unique bosses and control 14 different heroes. Game allows you to choose from several difficulty modes, meaning that it can be enjoyed either by noobs or by veterans of the genre. Game is quite funny, filled with Easter eggs and more than 70 achievements for you to unlock. People on Steam are saying that if you want to play something like StarCraft but don't want to fry your brain while doing that, Iron Marines is the next best thing. Game has a very positive review score, so this may very well be what you were looking for after all. Northgard. This is an RTS game based on Norse mythology in which you play as a clan of Vikings vying for the control of Mysterio's newfound continent. In this simple strategy game you will find lots of victory conditions, atmospheric music, changing seasons and, as you can see, pretty nice art design. Also, the game has a decent campaign with a pretty good story. Sadly, as I've mentioned many times before, Northgard's AI is cheating with infinite resources and manpower, meaning that developers couldn't create really good intelligence that could win against humans on its own. Well, I know that many strategy games do not have strong AIs, but they at least try. But you never know, maybe developers were AI geniuses, but they were afraid of accidentally making Skynet. You know, being accused of making a bad AI is one thing, but being responsible for a robot uprising that destroyed human civilization? Yeah, you know, better safe than sorry. Nevertheless, Northgard is a good RTS game for a few days, or maybe more. Maybe you will fall in love with it, you know, like Tapeworm falls in love with your guts. Command & Conquer Remastered Collection. These games were pinnacles of the RTS genre about 25 years ago, and now they are both fully remastered in 4K. That sounds amazing and plays floppy disks of nostalgia in my brain. In this release you will find all 3 expansion packs, rebuilt multiplayer, a modernized UI, map editor, and over 7 hours of legendary remastered music by Frank Klepacki. If you are old enough to play these games when they were initially released, this is the best way to relive these days with way better graphics. Here you'll find many cool things, like upscaled cinematic footage, enhanced sidebar UI, leaderboards for one-on-one matches, replays, 250 multiplayer maps, and even official mod support. But if you actually want a modern RTS game with all the cool stuff, these remastered games will not satisfy your needs. Go and play StarCraft 2 instead. It's free and it's awesome. Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition. This is a slightly better version of classic Age of Empires 2, but in general it's the same old game. If you played Age of Empires a long time ago, you'll probably notice nothing new except the graphics, and those are really nice. You can even zoom a little. Actually, a lot of stuff is updated, like farms receding automatically, more aggressive AI, slightly better pathfinding, and a bit of rebalanced technologies and units. Also, 4 new civilizations are included: Bulgarians, Cumans, Tatars, and finally Lithuanians, who were one of the most powerful nations in Europe in the Middle Ages. Also keep in mind that if you make a game with 4 other AI opponents with a population of 200, you better borrow that supercomputer from NASA, because otherwise you will learn what an astronomical lag means. Anyway, if you are feeling nostalgic, the price is great, just do it. Command & Conquer Red Alert 3. If somehow you were living under a rock in the bottom of the ocean far away on a distant planet in a parallel universe and avoided Red Alert 3, this is your chance to fill the gap and play one of the best RTS games ever created. Or maybe you have nostalgia and way more powerful machine than in the year of 2008 when you were playing the game for the first time. So now you can enjoy the game in full glory. Also, you can find tons of mods now that improve the gameplay in one way or another. Red Alert 3 has an awesome campaign, still good looking graphics and tons of fun. Age of Mythology Extended Edition. Game takes place in the lost land of Atlantis and focuses on famous Nordic, Egyptian and Greek legends. Age of Mythology Extended Edition comes along with the expansion and the additional Golden Gift campaign, and that is nice. In the game you will train and use mythological creatures like Minotaur, Cyclops and other well-known monsters invented thousands of years ago. Yeah, back in the days it was really easy to impress. If you put a cow's head on a man's body, everyone was like,
"Oh wow, so inventive, are you a genius?"
Or if you drew a man with one eye instead of two, that was the pinnacle of the creation back then. And now we look at all these bosses in the Elden Ring and we're like,
That is fine, I guess.
Anyway, in Age of Mythology you can call upon the gods for assistance in flattening enemy towns with meteors, punish your puny enemies with lightning storms, or drown them in the ocean of their own tears. War for the Overworld. This is a strategy-based building RTS where you will excavate and build your own dungeon. Yes, you are almighty evil dungeon master or mistress. Here you can choose from over 60 rooms, spells, potions, rituals, defenses and constructs as you progress through the game. Just be warned, the game is quite fast-paced, so you'll have to build like a swift underlord you are, or else your beautiful dungeon creatures might not win against the ugly puny heroes. In the game you can also build your own maps and campaigns, so unleash that inner creator you borrowed somewhere deep down under the bed long time ago. It's your time to shine. People on Steam are calling this game a spiritual successor of Dungeon Keeper. You know, with all the dark humor, evil creatures and evil you. Ashes of Singularity. He will battle for control of the galaxy as the advanced human race or their eternal foes, aliens named the Substrate. He will dive into massive battles with thousands of units in huge, really detailed maps, and that distinguishes this game from many other RTSs. Although keep in mind that these amounts of units in Ashes of Singularity require massive computing power.
Not as massive as your mama.
You can play the game alone or online with friends in ranked or unranked multiplayer mode, or play it by yourself against a powerful non-cheating AI in skirmish or campaign mode. People on Steam are saying that the game has a fun level editor and the amount of lasers is never too high. 5 Nations. If StarCraft was mockingly called a Warcraft in space, then 5 Nations should be called a Warcraft in space, because it is following the same gameplay formula as Blizzard games, but everything is happening, you know, in space. But don't worry, this is not some grand strategy game or something like a Homeworld where the distances are huge and everything is happening super slow. No, in 5 Nations the background is space, but all the action is the same as in old good base builder RTSs. The game gets little attention because it's an indie game and they have no money to make a huge advertising campaigns. I found it just because I was especially looking for games like StarCraft, and it still took me an hour to get to this game. Great thing is that you can play the demo version on Steam absolutely free and check it out with your own eyes. Although it's not easy to see where to download it, look in the right column above information about languages and you will see the download button. 5 Nations managed to stay true to old school gameplay, voiceovers and even writing style, and that is great. Frozenheim. This is a Norse city builder game with nice management mechanics and multiple progression trees where you maintain and expand your settlement. As you launch exploration parties on foot and by boats, you will not only discover resources you can exploit but also draw the attention of the enemies who seek to destroy you. This is a really bloody RTS game where you have a chance to chop your enemies like butter or hide like a coward behind huge wooden walls and towers filled with archers so you could fill attacking enemies with your stingy arrows. Or if you lack arrows, you can safely swear at them and call the attackers and their mamas fat. To prove yourself an earl worthy of songs and sagas, you will build and expand Viking village from nothing to a rich, unconquerable settlement. Or very conquerable and puny, and you will have to load the game and play again, but this time without stupid decisions. Here you can forage, hunt, fish, grow your food and keep your clan safe as the season pass. Also seek the blessings of ancient shrines and build temples to win the favor of Asgard and all the Asgardians. Homeworld Deserts of Kharak. a ground-based RTS prequel to the classic Homeworld games. It has nice graphics, great special effects and good gameplay in general. But do not expect miracles, campaign is only 13 missions long and it's quite easy, you can beat it in a day. Here an interesting story, fantastic desert setting and beautiful music makes this game one of the candidates to occupy your time, even if it differs from StarCraft a bit. Just don't buy this game if you are interested in multiplayer, nobody plays it, it's dead. Just like your hopes for your boss to increase your salary. Nightside. This is one of the most original looking RTS games. Here you can participate in a war, where lots of different blobs, schlorbs, glarbs and schleps fight each other in bloodthirsty battles for domination of the galaxy. Control-wise it resembles StarCraft model really closely, so you will feel right at home here. Interesting thing is the decision to modify the fog of war concept. Instead of it, your units and buildings have light sources to see the landscape and enemy units around them. Game features 4 factions fighting over a resource called the Green Ice. The game itself doesn't seem very deep and it's quite slow, but if you want an RTS game with nice controls where you can chill and relax, this is the game for you, and it's cheap. Spellforce free Reforced. If you are searching for something like the third Warcraft, search no more. This is a fun mix of RPG and RTS, meaning that most of the time you will control heroes that can gain experience, new skills and all that. Really similar to Warcraft's additional huge maps where you control Rexxar, and the other half of the game is traditional base building, unit training and upgrading so you could swarm the enemy with your eternal wrath. Campaigns are really well written, so reading and listening for conversations will be the thing you'll do a lot. And I mean it, about a third of the game consists of dialogues. So if you just want quick matches where you can show your insane APM of 20, it's not the case. But if you want story-rich RTS RPG game, this is definitely for you. Halo Wars Definitive Edition. Title includes improved graphics, new achievements and all the DLCs from the original game. Here you can experience the campaign or compete in online multiplayer battles. It is a surprisingly solid traditional base building RTS. Game has 91% of positive review score on Steam. It's hard to ignore this number, it may not be a masterpiece, but it's definitely one of the best RTS games out there. The downside is that almost nobody is playing online anymore. You have to have a friend to test your might in PvP matches, or you know, a mother-in-law. Also, I have to stress out that the game is oriented for those who know what Halo is, but the knowledge is not necessary to play. So if you can manage to snatch Halo Wars on sale, it's a win. 8-bit Invaders. Remember all the Lovecraftian movies where bodies are merging with each other? You know, like The Thing, The Fly or Annihilation with Natalie Portman. So if StarCraft and Minecraft were protagonists in such a Lovecraftian movie, 8-bit Invaders would be their merging result. See, you can always think of something better than just a cliché about
If StarCraft and Minecraft had a baby.
So this is a fast-paced RTS, a very colorful strategy arcade game that it's easy to learn for players of all skill levels. Collect resources, build up and defend your base, amass your army of tanks and starships, and ultimately crush humans with your metal tentacles, or show aliens who's the boss here. You will find 24 campaign missions, 10 co-op missions to play with your mother-in-law, destructible environments, and you know who the composer is? Frank Klepacki, the same dude who created music for Command & Conquer 27 years ago, when he was 17. Yeah, I will keep repeating this fact. And if you feel that this 8-bit setting is appealing to you, keep in mind that you can also find 2 more games, 8-bit armies that are made with the fans of Command & Conquer in mind, and 8-bit hordes that can be appealing to Warcraft fans. Dungeons 3. Here you'll be able to unleash your dark side by creating a unique underground dungeon from an array of rooms, traps and structures. You can raise a pretty despicable army here. Your goal, of course, is to corrupt the land and destroy all things cute or even remotely good. Yes, you can visit the Overworld here and, yes, let the terror thrive. The game has randomly generated levels, so it has great replayability. Isn't it awesome, friend? Don't you think so, friend? Notice how I called you a friend? It's because you are subscribed to my channel, right? Right? Anyways, people on Steam are saying that this game has tons of Easter eggs and nerdy references. It's like it was made for us.
Yeah, it was literally made for us, you genius.
Oh, shut up. BlackChain. This is a very nice old-fashioned StarCraft-inspired RTS that will take you only a few hours to finish. You'll be thrown to a year of 2088, where the solar system is ruled by those who can exploit it most efficiently. So I guess by someone like Elon Musk if he can detach himself from playing King of Twitter. BlackChain includes a classic campaign across the solar system with 12 unique story missions with full voice acting, base building, land and air combat, skirmish mode versus AI, also land multiplayer with 2 human players, map editor and custom games. Sadly, there is only one faction available. But hey, keep in mind that this game is made by one man and its price for a game that is made in the year of 2021 is ridiculous. It is equivalent of 10 kilograms of potatoes if you buy them in my city of Vilnius. So if you're not some weirdo who's considering traveling to Lithuania just to buy 10 kilograms of potato, better spend your money on BlackChain instead. Ancestors Legacy. This is a real-time strategy game influenced by historical events of the Middle Ages. Ancestors Legacy combines resource management and base building with large-scale squad-based battles across vast battlefields. It is all rendered in great detail with Unreal Engine 4. You'll experience medieval bloodshed and can enjoy a cinematic action camera that puts you right in the middle of the battle. People on Steam are saying that Ancestors Legacy is easy to learn and it's like chess. It involves a lot of strategy, so the more you play, the better you become. Basically, here a lot of options to crush the enemy lie in the plain sight, but only the master strategist can see them all. So the more you play, the easier the game will seem. Or not, you know, we all have our limits and sometimes our limit is below the requirements of a victory. Spellforce 3 Fallen God. Well, most strategy and RPG fans know Spellforce games, but it seems that this one is somehow forgotten, and it is a beautiful game. It is an absolutely standalone title. You don't need to play or even know anything about Spellforce at all to enjoy it. The stories are absolutely separated, just like you and your ex right now. I would say that Fallen God is a hybrid between Warcraft 3 and party-based real-time RPGs. You will be traveling around extremely huge maps with your heroes, and from time to time you will have to build a base and attack unsuspecting enemies, pillage their puny villages and eat their children. Well, maybe not the latter, but who knows, some of your heroes look pretty ravenous to be honest. And now thank you for watching. In my channel you can find more than 10 Steam Summer Sale videos, so check them out. I'm sure that you will find something nice for yourself in there. Have a nice day and I'll see you next time, bye!